Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, presenting Tell Me Your Spurs Story. And here with us tonight, sharing his story, we have a good friend of mine. And this is more for me than you guys, but it's my good friend, Shaun Mitchell. How are you keeping, brother?
Well, Dave, how are you? I'm all good. I'm all good, man. Thanks for having me on. Greatly appreciate it. Love the content every week. Absolute top notch, bud. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good, lad. Doing my thing, you know me, man. You know me. But for anyone that doesn't know this guy, he's a guy I grew up with. He's one of my best friends. You know what I mean? He's been there for me an awful lot of the times as well. We done everything together. We played ball together and everything else. So this is a nice moment for me to have personally. So thanks very much for giving up your time. I know you're a busy family man with the two kids there and the wife. So thanks very much for giving up your time, brother.
No problem. And again, thanks very much for having me on, man. It's an absolute pleasure and make time for you. Like you said, we've been through a lot. We've had a lot of good times, a lot of good memories, and it's going to be nice to really get into it with you as well.
100%, 100%, I agree, lad. Look, we may as well get straight into it on that note. Supporting Tottenham, lad, we know it's a roller coaster. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of highs, plenty of lows. And the highs are really high and the lows are really low. You know, and it is what it is. Sometimes it's like a full-time job supporting this club. But I love it. You love it. We all love it. But Shaun, tell us how you got into supporting this fantastic club. And I love the jumper you're wearing.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. I love your cap as well, man. Have to say it's definitely pulling off for you. Definitely pulling off for you. Look here. I mean, first how I really got started into it was all thanks to yourself. I remember even back in primary school when you first kind of came into the school and nobody really knew you, who you were, just a little cheeky chap running around the place, didn't really give a shit about anything, didn't give a shit what anybody said either. And started off just randomly talking about football and who you support. And I never really followed anybody in football. It just wasn't something that I done. And you were telling me about Tottenham Hotspur and how you used to go to games with your dad. And I was like, oh, man, I'd love to do something like that. So I would have to go see a game. And just from there, really, it just kind of stemmed on. I said, look, sure, I might as well watch a game, see what it's all about, see what way they play. And just from the first few minutes of watching them, the way they played football, I just fell in love, man. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Look, I seen a scrawny little kid running around. I was like, you know, he looks a bit lost. He looks like he doesn't have a football team. We need to convert him. I need someone to speak to me about Tottenham because all I had in the small town we grew up in, lad, was Meow lad. You know what I mean? So I was like, I
Yeah.
need someone during the day in school and that to talk about Tottenham with. So that's my guy. You know what I mean? I said, come here. You know what I mean? Who do you support? Oh well, you know, I like football, but I don't really watch games. And I was like, no, wrong answer. You're coming with me. We're going to watch the Spurs game. And then after that, I think you're more into Spurs than what I am. Do you know what I mean? So it's absolutely fantastic, lad.
Haven't looked back since anyway. Haven't looked back since anyway. And plenty of good memories there, man. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
100%, man. 100%. Brilliant. And look, one of my early Spurs memories, like I've said, I went my very first game with my old lad was Tottenham against Nottingham Forest when Nottingham Forest were in the Premier League. And so that's my earliest Spurs memory. But lad, what's your earliest Spurs memory?
Uh, my earliest Spurs memory would have to be the final of the League Cup back in 2008. I've watched a few games before that anyway, but the real standout one that sticks with me as my earliest memory would be that cup final. The one Berbatov took that nice, calm, cool, collective penalty.
Yeah,
Just crisp, man. Easy as you like, so cool. And I mean, to finish it off as well, Jonathan Woodgate coming in out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you couldn't have got a more flukier goal. Like the
yeah,
ball just bounced back and hit him straight in the face and went into the.
you
But look,
take it.
yeah,
Look, if you're there,
man,
if you're not there, you can't score, can you?
man,
You
and
know
that's
that,
it.
lad.
Like, look, you know what to say. You know what to say. A goal is a goal. Once it hits the back of the net, who cares? That's it. And the minute that went in, I was lit. I had the jersey off, swinging it around over my head. I was like, woo! It was just absolute brilliant, like absolutely brilliant, man. I didn't know what to do. And that's it. Just all the emotions hit me in one go, and I was like, "This is it." I don't know why, but I have to do this, and that's what I done. And to me, that's it.
No, 100%, man. No, because do you know in the town we live in? Remember back in the day, like at one end you could only get Sky, and then at the other end you could only get Chorus.
Absolutely.
Right. Well,
absolutely.
So my old lad, he was too tight to pay for the Sky, right? You know what I mean? So he was like, "I want Chorus, it's cheaper." But I was like, I'm telling him, you can't get Chorus up this end. Well, but then we're not having it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And I was grumpy all week. I was grumpy all that morning. All I wanted to do was watch the match. And obviously, you know the way my father likes to play jokes with me. He knew, like, I should have known that he was never not going to watch the match. But he firmly had me believing it, lad. And then all of a sudden, it's like, right, I'm going up to Bobby's to watch the match. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, 100%. So I remember specifically watching that match at my Uncle Bobby's. Great day, great memory. Absolutely brilliant. So thanks for bringing that up, Shaun. You've also jogged my memory as well, which is fantastic. So look, what is it about Tottenham that made you fall in love with it? For me, it's being on the terraces, especially as a young lad, with 30 other thousand men, chanting, singing, watching your team, pushing them on, trying to help them get the win. And that's what made me fall in love with this great club. What made you fall in love with it?
Well, I mean, I think you've had different experiences with the club, especially from a younger age, getting to go up to the games at a younger age with the early following. But being from where we're from, you can't really get to many matches. Luckily enough, we have managed to get to two ourselves, and we'll definitely get to another one.
One of the most important ones ever, the North London Derby, lad.
Oh man, what an experience! Yeah, we'll touch back on that later, definitely. Well, so for me, realistically, the only way that I could really get into the club was by watching them play and watching what happens out on the pitch, and whatever you might read in some news articles, which there wasn't really much that came over here anyway.
No. But at the time, I think we only had that. What was it back in the day on the Irish channels? It was like on RTE2, I think it was at 7 or 8 o'clock. You had that Premier League show where they kind of showed you a couple of highlights. But apart from that, it was teletext back in the day, wasn't it? Teletext for results.
Absolutely, yeah. The little black screen with all the different colour writing on you, telling you the scores of the fucking Premier League. Like
I used to love getting up and seeing Keane and Defoe. I was like, come on. I used to love it, lad.
But yeah, no, that was it. I remember that. It was literally like the shittiest version of Match of the Day that you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. It was like Match of the Day meets Father Ted and Craggy Island type of shit. It was just like, it was so bad, so bad. But I mean, for us, it was great. It was the best thing that we had because obviously we had teletext before that. You couldn't even hear anybody speak. So it was great. Yeah. But no, like I think for me, I like the fact that the way that they played football, especially back from 2007, 2008, 2009, like those for me were like the pinnacle of football in years, of the way that it was nearly almost ticky-tacky football with the type of players that we had. And the fact that we were always like a little bit of an underdog, I like that. Yeah. It was kind of like, it's grand, it's Tottenham, like, Tottenham going up against the big lads here, and it's like, grand, give us more of a reason to go for it. Let's show them what we're made for. Like that. That's what I loved about it. I loved the whole underdog. But I think the main thing that really stuck with me is the dares to do. Like that was just the mentality to push you on to greater things. It kind of like, you get to that stage where you're kind of like, as a young lad, it's something that you nearly live by. You're like, right, fuck it. What have I got to lose? I'm going to go for it. And even like when like we'd be playing matches and you'd be coming up to a 50-50 and, for me, like I would have pulled out. And then you, being the type of character that you are, tell me stop being such a little bitch and just go for it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. Like, what do I have to lose? And you just start living by it then. For me, it's just, it's where it's got me to where I am today, realistically. Because if you don't go for it, like, you never know. So why not?
100%, and I'm sure you used that motto when you were having your two kids as well, lad.
A bit too daring sometimes, lad.
That's brilliant. Absolutely
Oh,
love it. Oh, that's good. That's good. But look, there's been many greats of all greats of the game, spanning over many generations, who have had the privilege to grace the pitch out White Hart Lane. You know, like we're talking from our era, even Modric, Keane. Then you go before a little bit before that, Gascoigne, Hoddle. You know what I mean? And then you go to my dad's era. You had Ricky Villa, Ozzy Ardiles. You know what I mean? But who was your favorite ever player to put on that famous, sexy white jersey?
Oh, sexy jersey is right, lad. I'll agree with you there. Um, for me, I think it's a tough question because I would have been a central midfield player myself, so I would have kind of looked more as to who was playing in midfield over the years of supporting Spurs, and there's been some absolute cracking players in there, like we had the likes of Sandro and Huddleston.
You mentioned Berbatov.
Eventually Burb, like that was kind of a little bit of a shocker to see him pull back, like, but yeah, I mean, man, there's just been so many good players. Van der Vaart as well. Like,
Yeah,
man, he had some little whippet of a turn on him. I think
he was
he was
good player.
actually, he was very good. Dembele as well. Like that
Yeah, of
man,
course.
heart and soul. You couldn't mention midfield without mentioning him.
Yeah,
You
even
know,
Harry Kane's son. You know what I mean? Even now, like.
yeah, but I think it just goes to show you the versatility that those players have, that they're able to go from playing as a striker, then Son
Yeah,
out on the wing, and then thrown into midfield, like into centre attacking midfield players. Like, it's not a case now where players, he's your striker, and that's it.
yeah,
He's your striker. He's up there. Like, you see Kane. Kane does be back as a centre back even sometimes, as a holding
yeah.
midfielder, standing there beside Højbjerg. Like, you're kind of like, you're a striker, you should be up, but that's what's demanded of the game, and that's what you have to do, and
That's
that's
what
what you
Mourinho
need
has
from
been
your
doing.
players. That's
Yeah,
what you need from your players. Well, for me, look, I think my favorite player overall has to be Modric. I think
yeah. I agree.
the man, he had absolutely everything. He had a fucking left and right foot made of pure silk, man. He could
Yeah,
just, and sometimes you swear he must have glued the ball to his boot at some stage out there. You like nobody could get it off him. For such a small man, I think he had a lot of strength about him too. There was
yeah.
plenty of battles there. He could
That low
shield the ball
center of
really
gravity
well.
that these small players have. Believe it or not,
Something
actually, you like
else.
this. I was listening to an interview that Robbie Keane done.
Mm-hmm.
And when they first signed him and he arrived at Tottenham, he was saying that, they were all laughing at him, saying, this guy, he's not built for the Premier League. Look at him. I mean, he's going to fail. And he said, after the first training session, they all came off and said that he's the best player at the team and that this guy has the ability to take Tottenham to the next level. Now, that's just a little insight of what Robbie Keane said on an interview. That's testament to how good the guy was.
Absolutely, and I think a real testament to him as well is seeing where he went to, and the fact that he managed to be such a consistent figure in a team of that caliber to be playing
And of course,
along
Ballon d'Or winner, lad.
here. I mean, man, like who'd been winning the fucking Ballon d'Ors year in year out, and
Yeah,
it was a shock. But I have to admit, I think that it was thoroughly deserved for him, and I think they need to start giving more credit to people that just don't bang in goals consistently. Like, a goal scorer will be a great goal scorer, but he has to be fed the ball as well. So,
yeah,
I think it's about time that they moved away from that whole mentality of, oh, well, he's scored fucking 600 goals in the past 4 years, so give him Ballon d'Or. Like, that for me, that's not the way that it should work. It should be worked based on their creativeness, the dedication to the team, to their work rate on the pitch, and just by pure overall consistency, I think, because that's what makes you a great player, is being consistent.
Yeah. No, and look, Modric is testament to that. You know what I mean? The fact that he managed to squeeze himself in there and win it is unbelievable for a midfielder, because the last few years it's gone to Ronaldo and Messi, and you know what I mean, like that players like you said, who grab all the headlines with the goals. But correctly, like you said, you know what I mean, there are players that feed them. Yeah. Look, for me, man, Modric was unbelievable. He could pass left, he could pass right. You know what I mean? Anytime someone was like, oh, I'm going to clatter him, before they knew it, when they spin round, like, fuck, where did he go? He's already gone. Just that low center of gravity, that quick turn. You know,
Yeah.
he's the sort of player that also he knew where he was passing at before the ball even got to him. He already scanned the pitch and he goes, right, this one's going out right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No look pass, boom, straight out to the right onto
Yeah.
your foot. The guy's measure of passing was unbelievable.
The vision and the weight he could put into a pass,
Yeah,
absolutely inch perfect, man. Like he could put that on a dime if he wanted to, and
yeah,
there's no question to it. He absolutely could have easily anytime you wanted. Yeah, all right. Where do you want that? No problem. There you go.
yeah,
Easy as you like. And that's what for me is like you just for me now. I think that a lot of that is what is missing from our current squad is we're
yeah.
missing that just one player that has that creative spark. Like, don't get me wrong, the Celso is lethal, man. He is fucking
Well,
shit.
when he's on the pitch,
Exactly. I think he's had a lot of injuries. I think he's been a little bit unfortunate as well. But don't forget, like, when you look at the tackles that these guys to be going into, it's no wonder that they're coming out injured all the time. Like, you could be off over in Spain or over in Italy, and like you're coming up at fucking 34, 35 year olds, and you can skip past them. It's like being down at the Astro pitch with all the
yeah,
over 35s, and you're a 19-year-old young lad just dribbling around them as if they're cones. It can make you
yeah,
look fantastic. But when you come into the Premier League, and that's when you start to really see what a player's worth, what they're capable of,
yeah,
and what they can do. And I think the way that Modric came in, and he did what he done compared to how many other people can do it in the Premier
yeah,
League. Like you see De Bruyne do it,
yeah,
and now you're seeing Bruno Fernandes do it. He's
yeah.
banging in goals as well. Modric was doing it, but
He
I think
scored
that we
he
are.
scored a few nice runs. I remember he scored a cracker of a volley against Liverpool. I remember he
Mhm.
ran onto it, spanked it straight top bins, no saving
Oh,
it. You know what I mean? Anyone behind that goes, I'm sure there was a fucking hole
and
in the net, and someone caught
and
that ball. That was a screamer.
I think you described that very well. Just spanked it, man. Absolutely spanked it. Like that is it. That he came onto that and he was like, "Here you go, son. Fucking have that."
Yeah.
And he hit that. Like he meant every
Well,
bit of
another thing, you know
it.
what I mean? He wasn't afraid to get stuck in. He was well able to handle himself in that midfield area. Do you know what I mean? The
Mm,
games never passed him by. He always made sure he was involved, whether it was on the ball or off the ball. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He got stuck in as well, which I love. You know, he had it all, man. He had it all. He had the vision, he had the flair, he had the passing, he had the shooting, he had the
yeah,
guile, he had the attitude.
yeah,
He had the strength, he had the IQ. He had it all, man. He even had the long wavy hair. You know what I mean? It brought me back to the
mm,
Ginola days. As soon as I seen him, I was like, I just started
yes,
getting visions of David Ginola. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Unbelievable. Modric
And
had it all. He was a brilliant
I
player.
I completely agree with you. I don't ever really recall going through a spell of there being 10 minutes and you're kind of like, I haven't seen much of Modric. Like
Yeah,
where is he? He was nearly always there. He's kind of like Højbjerg now. Very rare when you're watching the match that there's not 2 minutes gone by and Højbjerg's in there. He's kicking somebody. He's fucking at the ball. He's doing something. He's pulling out with somebody. And that's the way Modric was. Modric was always kind
yeah,
of hunting down at something. He was
yeah.
involved in some way. He was raring to go. Like I know even watching Sissoko, you're kind of like, where the fuck is he gone? And
Where is he? Football
like,
ability. That's what I look at when I see him.
man, I'm telling you now, if I went out there in a pair of wellies, I'd have more footballing gifts than that lad. I don't know how he's managed to make it that far when he can't even fucking pass the ball. And I have to admit, like, I think the same thing's happening with Winks. Like, Winks, he goes through spells. I mean, it's like you've been on the COVID payment for the past 8 months and you've got a couple of pound left, and you're like, you go into the hairdresser and you go, what can you give me? I say, oh, well, look, I can give you the short back and sides. That's about it. And that's really all you see from Winksy is short backs and sides. He's just a cheap haircut at this stage, man. And
Yeah.
I think I'm full on in agreement when you hear people talk about he's not good enough for this level.
But
He is
like
not
Modric, you
good
can
enough.
compare him and Modric in stature. And you know what I mean? That's the player Winks needs to be for this Tottenham team. That's who I compare it to because
Yeah.
They're similar in stature, similar in straight, in strength and height. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and I completely agree with you. And I think if we want to get to where we want to be and where we should be, you cannot have a person or player like Winks in a position where you should have a person or player
yeah,
like Modric. With their
yeah,
mentality, you need that in there. You don't need a
yeah,
Winksy. No,
yeah.
you need a Modric. And
And
I think that's what we're missing at this time.
yeah, 100%. And honestly, to anyone out there, I can tell you, this guy is a huge, huge Modric fan. This guy used to come on as striker. He used to rob one of my goals. I remember that one day. I'll never forget that.
Never
Um,
going in, never going in, lad.
no, I'll never forget that, lad. Basically, I done the out Diego Maradona, skinned a few boys, put it right across the keeper, like you're told to do. But what you weren't told when these coaches tell you that is that, there's going to be a young lad coming on to make his debut. He's want to make an impression. And as soon as it gets on the line, he absolutely buries it. But you know what? I was absolutely delighted for you before you that day, to be honest with you. I was so happy. But when I had time to think about it, I got angry because I was like, I was on 2 goals that day. I was waiting for the hat trick, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I got you into football. I said to you, Mitch, I remember one summer I said to you, Mitch, come down. And you come
Yeah,
down, you never look back since. But this guy loves Modric that much
never.
that he's converted from a striker to a midfielder. That's how much this guy loves Modric. You know what I mean?
He is. He's just he's a wizard, man. That's what he is in midfield. He's unreal. And I know I'm going to do the same again this season. The minute that I get out onto that pitch, I'm going to be doing the same thing, no matter what. That's me. That's what I do. I go in and I make the midfield my own, and I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm like, right, you go in first 5 minutes and you are going to nearly dump tackle somebody in there. You're going to be like, this is my fucking center circle, boy, and don't you forget it. Like,
Us.
it's what you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to just spank everybody that's coming in there. You're like, no, this is mine, and that's what
Yeah.
I love about it. And you have to have that creative spark as well. Some man to ping a true ball, I tell you. Some man to ping a true
Stop.
ball.
I tell you that. You fed me a few times, lad. You fed me a good few times.
Plenty of arguments when I didn't, though.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas me, I was the opposite. I was that much of a Modric, Zidane, Roy Keane fan. I used to love playing midfield. But then, I started finding myself up front a bit more. And look, let's just say I can hit the goal. I can find the net. But anyway, we'll move on. So, Mitch, look, there's been many great managers. I remember the Martin Yole era and the Harry Redknapp era that, I know you love. I know you love the Harry
Yeah.
Redknapp era, like of Berbatov, Keane, Modric, players like that. Then, you've also seen Tim Sherwood, Villas Boas. You even seen that Wanda Ramos when we won the League Cup, Pochettino, and Jose Mourinho. I think I've covered all the managers that you've seen in your lifetime as a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Well, who was your favourite and why?
Absolutely no question. I think for me, 100%, it has to be Pochettino. I was actually listening to your podcast the other day, and I have to admit there was a lot of sense made about how Pochettino managed to achieve what he did with the squad that he had, and not getting much backing from the board. Like, you look at, to me now, even just do a comparison of lately with Mourinho compared to Pochettino, and you look at the squad as to what squad was 2 years ago compared to what it is now, and you look at what's been achieved. For me, I think what Pochettino has managed to achieve with the players that he had. Oh, don't forget, like
At one stage, may I add though, he did have a better squad than Mourinho. When you're talking about prime Dembele, prime Wanyama, Walker, Rose, Vertonghen,
yeah,
Alderweireld, Lloris, you know what I mean?
oh yeah,
Ericsson, Deli, Son, Kane. Now
yeah.
it's a bit more depleted, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I know, I do know what you're saying about with being in prime and stuff, but as well, don't forget, like when Bale was sold, the Bale money that
Yeah,
we got. I know you were talking about this the other day as well. Like the players that we got in out of that Bale money, like we didn't get fucking top
no.
dog players
The only one
from
that
that.
you'd say
So
I actually argue that probably worked out, even though Lamella is the last one here, the only one that probably worked out, you'd say, is Christian Eriksen. And even I
yeah,
hate that fucker for what he done walking away.
man, it was absolutely cowardly. That's what it was. It's like the schoolboy that's done wrong, but he doesn't want to get in trouble, so he's just going to run away. And it was really sly and cowardly at the same time. You should
Yeah,
have a bit more fucking respect for who got you to where you are today.
yeah,
But no, I mean, like there was a lot of stuff that had to be done with the players that were there to get them to
yeah,
where they were. So
yeah,
there was a lot of work put into that.
yeah,
And when Poch came in, like there was a lot of work to get everybody to gel properly and to
yeah.
do things right. So I think with what he managed to achieve while he was there, I think for me, he has to be my favorite manager. Like, he brought us,
The style
he
of
got us,
football was
right?
unbelievable. I have to say, it
Oh,
was lovely. I loved watching us every week.
yeah, and it was such a joy. Like, you were like, I can't wait to see what we're fucking gonna line up today. And no matter realistically who you had in the lineup, the football was nearly always consistent. Like, even though when look at how much Kane was out. Man, Kane was out for some serious amount of time. But
Mm.
it was like we nearly played better in the Champions League games.
Yeah,
Like,
there was that.
you
There
know,
was that debate going around at the time. To be fair, yeah, are we better with Kane? Like, we scored. Like, there was that debate going around at the time because I think we were scoring more without Kane.
yeah,
But look, you're never going to drop Harry Kane. You know what I mean? But the Champions League final was
absolutely.
another massive moment by Pochettino as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think for me, right, for me with that Champions League final, it was wrong to start Kane. Like, you can see
Mm.
why he did, but
Yeah,
if somebody's not ready,
they're not ready. Yeah,
they're not ready, man. You can't. There's the old
I think
saying:
that
like,
was
you
more
have to
Harry Kane's
defend.
decision. I think it was actually more Harry Kane's decision, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager because he's the one that allowed it. He should have said, "Look, Kane, I'll
He
bring you
picks the
on." You know what I
squad.
mean? Or
Yeah, he
yeah,
picks the squad. Kane doesn't pick the fucking squad week in, week out.
yeah,
So what are you doing? Like, you don't, if he's not ready, but he's telling you that he's ready. He's telling you he's ready because he wants to play in that final. Every
yeah,
single person wants to play in that final, but it's whether you're able to. That's a
yeah,
massive, massive difference. And you could see it, man. Watching that final, and he was just dribbling around the place. So he was
yeah,
like, there was no strength in his legs to even
yeah,
carry him
yeah.
around
He couldn't
after
move.
15, 20 minutes. Like, and
Yeah,
for me, but look, like, this is just my view on it. What he done tomorrow, like, we never would have got as far as we had got without Mora. Like, he
mm,
single handedly brought us through to
yeah,
that final, and
yeah,
then you drop him for the final.
yeah, yeah.
No, give some credit to that man. That was a serious, serious
Yeah,
lack
no,
of
it was. It
respect.
was.
Like,
Look, for me,
you
if a guy scores a hat trick in the semi final, you play him in that final, you fit him in. That's my opinion on it. Because, like,
and I completely
likelihood
agree.
is that he's going to be that inspired, he will drag you over the line. Like that. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah,
But look, it's all ifs and buts. But one thing I'll definitely take from that Champions League run is when I was down in college and I was able to ring you and just sit there and talk. I'm like, man, like, especially after the City game, the Ajax game, even the last game of the group stage that we had to have results going our way and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, even after all of that, like the last game of the group when we got out, I just remember sitting there ringing you and going nuts. Like, you know what I mean? Sitting there like, how? Like, you know what I mean? That's mental. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It
Absolutely,
was unbelievable.
absolutely.
I remember one stage I went outside, sat down against the wall, and I rang you and I was talking to you. I couldn't believe what was going on. Couldn't believe
Oh, it's
what was going on.
unreal. Absolutely unreal, man. Completely, completely agree with you. Like, it was just we had to come back so many times from being way behind where we
Yeah,
should have never been in a situation like that.
yeah,
But again, like, that's part of this club. It's part of football too. No matter what, you're going to get into those situations. Like, you can go out against
yeah,
a League Two team in a cup, and you could get hammered fucking 3-0. It could just
yeah,
be like, you could be playing, and it could be a shit ground. You might not be used to it, and you could just be unlucky on the day. You don't know. At the end of the day,
yeah,
you go out and it's 11 versus 11, and if your 11 don't turn up and the other 11 do, you know what's going to happen. Like, no matter what
yeah,
caliber of a player you are, if you're having a shit day, you're having a shit day, and
yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it.
100%, 100%. You know what I mean? But look, one thing I'll forever be grateful for the Poch is that he allowed me to take pride in my team. You know, he allowed me to watch the Champions League on my team on the greatest stage of all of any football competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Champions League final, the biggest games I grew up watching. Bayern Munich, Valencia, Juventus, Real Madrid, Barcelona, you know what I mean? And then when you
Yeah.
want to throw in some of the English teams, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, I was pissed
Yeah.
off. I was always sitting there, you know, even as a young lad, you know. I always believed, though, I always sat there and said, one day I will have my time. And I got my time. I got to see my team on the great stage, whether it went, even though it went sour, you know. And as well, the fact is that I was able to share that experience with my old lad as well. You know, it's one in a lifetime. He's a big Spurs fan. And for me to be
Yeah.
able to watch it with him on our team on the great stage, unbelievable. I'll forever be indebted with Poch on that.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean?
and man, I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Like, you know, it makes you look back on where the club has been to where it is now and where it's going to be heading, or where it should be heading even in the future.
Where
And
it should be, yeah.
that's the thing. You kind of say to yourself, how many more opportunities are we going to get in the next 5 years to be able to do that again? Like, it's,
Yeah,
you know, it's such a proud thing to be able to say that your team made it to the final of the Champions League. Like, it is the most ultimate competition out there, because it's
yeah,
the top teams from every single division that is up there, and any single recognizable competition that's up
yeah,
there. You're all in the one pot. You have to compete against the best of the best. You made it
yeah,
straight into that final. Like, it's a dream come true to be able to say that you made it that far. Obviously, it would have
yeah.
been absolutely perfect if we had a won, but you know, to make it there, even, you know,
But look,
it's the best achievement, I think.
you know how tough it was growing up. Like, you know, we're surrounded by mainly, you know, United and Liverpool fans. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, like, you know, you're always listening to them. Oh, you know, especially in '05, what it was. You know, the Champions League final, and you know they used to give us a lot of ribbon and a lot of slagging. But it was great to have our time. It was great to have my moment. You know what I mean? Especially them United fans. They've done it to me
Oh
so many
man,
times over the years with their league titles and, you know, oh, you're only the Spuds and, you know what I mean, this, that, and the other. And
yeah.
it was a glorious day. I have to say it was a glorious day. You know, I got to wind a lot of people up that day. So it's a win-win situation for me. Brilliant. But look, Mitch, we're going to move on to the next question now. So
Yeah.
look, for me, one of my greatest memories. So I have a few, right? But one of my greatest memories, and the reason why I always remember this game, was because the David Bentley volley. Me and you were watching it in my house, and you know, it was so unexpected. He cracked this. We were sitting there, and we were like, "What is he doing?" And then we were sitting there. Oh, no way! Cut it, cut it! And the next thing, it hit the back of the net. We couldn't believe it, lad. You know what I mean? We could not
uh,
believe it. It was unbelievable.
never, never forget that moment. I will never ever forget that moment. And
I think that was a 5-5, was it? I think that finished 5-all that day.
I think it was something absolutely
Or 4-all,
ridiculous.
5-all, 4-all.
And man, like, you know, it's one of those type of shots that you can see him, and you're thinking like, what are you doing, you fucking idiot? Like, don't even
Yeah,
think about it. And then you watch it, and you're like, oh, he's after fucking it up now. And like, it's hard enough to get the ball and to keep it. What are you fucking doing? And then you just watch it sail and sail and sail, and then you see it hit the back of the net, and it's just boom, everything
yeah,
fucking lifts. Like, the roof, man, the roof was blown off your house. We were
yeah.
screaming in the sitting room. We were running around the place. We were lit. Your dad was watching. Your dad was actually watching it in the back
In the
room or
back
something
room.
as well. And we were like screaming, we were screaming, and your dad comes in and he was like, "What are you two little bitches screaming about?" And you were
Yeah,
like, "Get in here and look at this." And your dad
yeah,
was just like, "That was a good goal, all right, yeah."
yeah.
We were lit. Like, that was it. It was fucking, oh, and some screamer. I
Yeah,
have to
no,
say,
what it
for
was,
me,
he was only in from work and he was having his dinner. That's what it
mm.
was. And then he heard us screaming. Yeah,
And man, that has to be my favorite goal. My favorite
yeah.
goal ever that was scored was that one. Like, you know, it doesn't get much better. And to come against Arsenal as well, it was just an extra kick in the sack for them. It was like, yeah, how
Oh,
do you like
yeah,
that? How do you like that? And, but of all people, Bentley, like, you know, you would not have thought of it in a million years. And it's just
yeah,
one of those screamers that come out of nowhere every once in a while. And like, it was just absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. So it was. I love
Yeah,
that.
it
I love
was
that.
the sheer audacity, lad. The audacity to try that. You know what I
And to
mean?
try
The
it at that
audacity
level, like, you know, it's
at
not
Arsenal.
Sunday league, man. It's not a Sunday league. It's not like you can go out there after having a few pints and just be real cheeky and say, fuck this, I'm going to shoot from halfway. It's not like this is the top fucking level, the top level.
And he
And
meant
he
it.
comes
And
out
the thing
and
is, he meant that. He meant that. That was the sick thing about it. You know what
yeah,
I
you
mean?
could see
But
it.
again, we have to remember he was an Arsenal boy. He came through their academy. You know what I mean?
And,
Before he went to Blackburn. So for him, that was magical. That was
and
magical to do that. Basically, stand there and say, "I'm playing with your rivals." You know what I mean? And you're the one that murdered me. Look what I could do.
And you know, I think you could see that in his celebration, man, because he
Yeah,
just took off.
yeah,
The minute he hit that, he was running already. He knew that was gone in. He was like,
yeah.
I'm after hitting this one. I'm going celebrating. He was nearly done a lap of the pitch, man. He was, and I don't
Do you
blame him.
ever
I would have.
another Bentley moment that just popped into my head, lad, was, do you remember when we made Champions League the first time, for the first time ever under Harry Redknapp, and Peter Crouch got that goal against City, and then in the aftermath when they were interviewing Harry Redknapp, he came out in his tighty whiteys, his little white fronts, and came out and dumped the ice bucket over Harry Redknapp, lad.
Oh, lad, yes, I do. I remember that.
His little
And
budgie smugglers on him.
wasn't that the one where Redknapp swore as well on TV? Wasn't that the one where he's like, "Oh, you fucking,"
Yeah,
he was actually
yeah.
trying to be all professional, but I mean, when you're actually getting dumped with fucking freezing cold water, you are gonna curse at somebody. You're gonna go
I
ballistic,
I
man.
just thought it was brilliant. You know what I thought was brilliant about it was that they were so happy with themselves and so joyful that honestly I think David Bentley thought he had clothes on, but he didn't. He came out in the boogie smokers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
man,
It was so funny.
man, that budgie was not being smuggled. He was being choked to death in those jobs. They were fucking. They're jump off the top bunk. Here, man, hold me fucking cactus for me, will you? And diving off the top bunk into the. You can't, yeah.
Oh lad,
You can't.
it was
You can't
brilliant.
get into. You can't get into those one leg at a time. Anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Fucking
no,
hell.
that's off the top bunk, 2 feet, perfect timing job, straight down the middle, straight into them. You know
Oh,
what I mean? But look,
perfect.
we'll move on. So look, there's been many iconic goals scored in a Spurs jersey over the years. You know, we spoke about the Modric volley against Liverpool that time. You also have the Victor Wanyama screamer against Liverpool. We spoke about the
Oh yeah.
David Bentley goal. You can even go back to the 1991 semi-final. Gascoigne and his free kick against Arsenal. Yeah, you know, you also have Ozzy Ardiles' amazing goal against City in the FA Cup final replay. And then, you know, you also have Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale, look, he has a reel of them, to be fair. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he
Some
does.
absolutely amazing, amazing goals. You even have Robbie Keane in there, if you were. Even Dele Alli with, remember that volley, that over the head chip he done, and then the volley against Palace.
Oh
What's
man,
your
sick.
favourite ever goal? What's your favourite ever goal scored in the Spurs shirt?
A favorite ever goal, and I'm going to tell you now, it's definitely that Bentley one. Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. But I will say that I have a second favorite, and it might come as a little bit of a surprise to you. But Danny Rose on his debut,
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
debut, oh, like,
Yeah.
man,
What a strike. That was clean.
you talked earlier on about the pure audacity, like that in itself on your
Yeah.
debut to have the audacity to come on and smack something like that, like, and
Yeah.
oh my god, like, for me, I mean, if you make your debut with that, like, it doesn't come
Yeah.
much better. You could score a hat trick and it still wouldn't be that good, like,
Yeah,
you
no, there's
score.
nothing better than a screamer, and you love a screamer. I know that. You would
Oh
rather
man,
score one long ranger than 3 tap-ins. I know that for a fact.
absolutely. I am an admirer of. I have
Even
a
if you hit
passion.
the post with a crossbar, you're absolutely delighted with
Man,
it.
you'd swear sometimes when I hit the crossbar from fucking 30 yards out that you'd swear it was after scoring. Like, there's just times like that where
Sometimes you would
things
rather hit
are.
the crossbar than score. I've heard you say to me, yeah, but look, it looked better that I hit the crossbar.
Oh yeah, those ones where you hit them and you can nearly even hear the whole fucking pitch go silent, and then you hear when it hits the fucking crossbar, and you're just like, whoa! They're the ones, man. They're the ones you want. They are the ones you want. I've had a few of those in my day. Hopefully more
Yeah.
again next year. But A couple of
Hopefully.
goals from halfway as well myself. So just
Yeah.
having the cheek and the audacity to do it as well. You have to do it. Pull the old
It's
wool
something
over
we
the
grew up
eye.
with, lad. It's something we grew up with. You know what I mean? The two of us have a few naughty goals in our locker over the years, a few highlight reels. You know what I
Oh,
mean? I
here,
have my
man.
overhead from outside the box. I'll never forget that one, lad.
Oh, that was a peach, man. That was an absolute
Yeah.
peach. Like again, more audacity. Like what are you doing? Trying an overhead from outside the box, like you know what I mean?
Sometimes,
You
look, sometimes, when the ball just hits off you and it bounces up and you're just in that moment. To be
oh, you
honest with you, I
know,
was too tired. It got to the point of the game where I was actually too tired to take it down and try and turn them. So I was like,
yeah.
do you know what? Fuck it. The keeper's small. Let's have a go. And,
Why not?
just look, it worked out. It worked out. You know what I mean? But honestly, back to that Danny
Absolutely.
Rose goal, lad, on his debut. Yeah. Do you know how dare I forget that, lad?
No,
Especially
no,
say
no, no,
since
no.
it was against the Gunners.
Like you said, it's one of those wild ones out there. It's flash in the pan, he comes on out of nowhere and rifles a fucking shot in. And to be fair, there has been some absolute quality goals that have come out of our squad
Yeah.
and absolute screamers as well. So there's just too many to mention. Sometimes there's not enough time to think of them all, and that's why it's nice to have somebody else that you can kind of chat and see their opinions. And they like that. I came up with a goal there, and you were kind of like, "Oh fuck yeah, forgot about that,"
Yeah.
which is mint as well. It's so
And that's
refreshing,
the great
and even
part
like
about
with
doing
you,
these. Sorry, go ahead.
it's like that. It's like with you, even like you mentioned a couple, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, I completely forgot about that myself." Like, so it's really really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the great thing about doing these stories, I recorded another one earlier, and his most favourite goal that he always remembers, and it was a Paul Stalteri goal against West Ham. You know what I mean? That won us the
Yeah,
game. And the reason why he loved it so much, just because of the player who scored it. It was an
yeah,
anomaly. It's not something Paul Stalteri done. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's mad, like some of the goals and that people bring up and refresh your memories. Like I
yeah,
remember, even Eric Edmond has one. Asher Koto has one against Liverpool, first game of the season. There's some
yeah.
mad goals in there, lads. Some absolutely mad ones. And this is the great thing about being able to do this. Tell me your Spurs story. Everyone has different memories, and it's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know what I
That
mean? It's great.
that Stalteri goal, that was the fucking rebound, wasn't it? It was like literally the
Yeah,
last couple of minutes. Who was running up with it? Was Defoe running up with it, or was it Lennon? Took
I'm
the
not
strike,
sure.
came back
I'm not
off.
sure.
Keeper saved it. Stalteri just out of nowhere, yeah, bang, tap in.
Yeah,
But like you say, it's something that everybody else has their own favorite, and it's so good to be able to hear what everybody's favorite is. It's unreal.
yeah. Honestly, well, look, whether you're from, and England, and you can get to the games, or whether you're from all around the world, everyone has memories, and everyone loves this club. So it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing, honestly, to be able to meet so many people. But look, we'll get on. We have two more questions left, so we'll get on to them. Look, for me, Tottenham was a way of life. The club motto to there is to do, like you said, it inspires me on to do many great things. I wouldn't have done this without it. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
fact that, you just see it and you say, look, you dream big, you can achieve it. And in a way, it kind of inspired me to do my YouTube. I was sitting there humming and hawing. I was like, no, 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 I'm not going to bother. People are going to laugh at me. I'm not going to have the confidence, this, that, and the other.
yeah,
But you know what? I said, fuck it. Switch on the camera and go. You never know. And look,
yeah.
it's worked out well for me. And look, if I didn't have Tottenham, you know me, lad, I'd be lost. My whole day revolves around this club. You know what I mean? Even when I ring you, I always talk about Tottenham. Even
Yeah.
when we were working together, lad, I always talk about Tottenham. You know what I mean? When I'm at home, even with the missus, I try to talk about Tottenham. And she's like, David, I don't understand. I was like, no, but just sit there and listen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm not
I don't
asking you to
care.
talk back to me. Just sit there and listen.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's madness. You know how much I love this club. And I
yeah.
know how much you love it too. But what does this club mean to you?
Oh, to me, again, I have to say that the club means absolutely everything. Like it took it to the next level again for me when we actually went to the games ourselves.
Yeah,
Like being here in Ireland and only getting to watch it on TV, it takes a different aspect, and yes, it's great. You're a follower. You love the club. You watch every single game. You know about the club. You know about the teams. You know about the players. But the minute that you head over there and you start to go match day, you wake up, you go up there. it's a different atmosphere altogether. It gives you a different feeling for the club, and to see how all the other supporters are together, and like it is like a family. Like everybody there,
Yeah.
they're all supporting Spurs. You're supporting
Remember,
Spurs,
remember we
and
went to a Palace game and you ended up being up in the top tier on your own and you absolutely loved it, man. You know what I mean? There's
oh
people around you were enjoying the game with. It's madness.
man, I remember that because that was the game Sonny scored in, and
Yes.
I
Palace.
man,
Gazzaniga was
we
in
had
goal that day, made his debut.
yeah. Yeah, I remember I was watching him warm up, and I was like, "Oh man, we are fucked like this.
Yeah.
We are no
Yeah.
enough." I was nearly going to walk out watching him warm up, but Jesus, man, like he played a stormer when the minute the fucking first whistle went, it was like,
Yeah.
who's after putting this lad in goals? This is a completely different caliber to what we were watching warming up, like,
Yeah.
and he switched it on. But I remember because that game just kind of dragged and dragged and dragged, and to be up so high as well, it was really really good because you could actually watch the shape and the way the players
Yes.
go around the pitch, which
I
was
was
really
jealous.
really
I was jealous because even though I had pitch side seat, right? Do you know when the ball's over the far side?
Yeah,
You can barely see because there's so many fucking bodies, lad. I was
yeah,
jealous. You know what I mean? I was
yeah.
jealous. But anyway, go on. I just let you know
Okay.
I was jealous. You shouldn't have been jealous of me. I was jealous of you that day, lad.
Oh, here, look. I mean, it was just looking
I
to
was
draw,
down. I was
really.
down with the prawn sandwich brigade when I started celebrating when Son scored. You know, they were all looking at me like, "Who's this crazy fucker?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And even the steward
different
came
league.
over. Like, even the steward kept coming over. He was like, "Can you sit down?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm from all over here from Ireland, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean. I pay good money for this. Just let me be me. Let me do me, and you worry
yeah,
about your job. I won't cause you any trouble." And in fairness, he
exactly.
did, lad. Great day. But sorry, anyway, go on.
No, you're good. You're good. Again, I like hearing your aspect of stuff too, as well, man. Because like that, you were down there. I was up by myself, but like the minute that song goal hit the net, man, Wembley erupted. Like
Yeah,
fuck me, it
it was a
just took
cagey thing,
on.
a cagey game that day.
And oh yeah, I mean it was real touch and go, real touch and go. I think. Oh fuck.
I was sitting down there, right? I was actually sitting down there. And I was, because remember, Mikey came with us, and I was sitting there with Mikey, and I was like, I can't believe I brought him over for his first game, and we're going to end up drawing. I can't believe it. Neil all draw. I'm never bringing him again. And then when
Oh
Son
man.
scored, I was like, right, he can come again. It's fine. You know what I mean? At least he scored. But I remember sitting there, I was like, oh, sick. I brought him over for a game, and it's a nil odd. You know what I mean? And then Sonny, lad.
But
I
here
actually think you rang me when Sonny scored, I think. I
didn't
think you rang me when Sonny scored.
didn't Zaha hit the post or something as well in the first half, the
Yeah,
first few minutes? Like
he came very close. Yeah, he had a couple of
yeah, and I
chances.
was like, oh man, Jesus. But the minute Sonny buried that, like everybody around again, I was up there, I was by myself. The stadium was packed. It was packed.
Yeah,
And man, everybody around me, like we were hugging the whole lot. We were screaming. Like
yeah.
we were like going fucking nuts, man. And straight away, as soon as the goal went in, I didn't know who your man was beside me, but I was hugging him, and it was like, I fucking love you. Come on, you
Yeah.
Spurs. And we were hugging each other, man. It was just top fucking quality. And it was just a great, great moment. Absolutely great moment.
It was insane.
Yeah,
Insane,
yeah,
man.
it was. It was insane, man. It was insane. For the first game as well. It was nice to come away with the win, man. It was nice to come away with the win.
But for the people that have never got and are thinking about going for the first time, describe what it's like going for the first time for these people. Because, I've been lucky enough, but for people that, haven't been lucky enough, let them know what it feels like.
I think for the first time going, when you got, I haven't been to the new stadium yet. Like we went to Wembley twice, but the minute that
Mm.
we got off and we had that long walk down, and you're just staring at Wembley the whole way down, and they've got the carts out, they've got boys selling scarves, match
Yeah,
day cards, you've got the lot. The chants are going all the way up. Just it nearly makes it. No, it nearly makes actually. Your heart is racing, like racing. You just can't wait to get into that stadium. You can't wait to see what's going to happen. You can't wait to see the lineup. You just every single thing about it. Even now talking about it, like I just want to go again. I want to go again.
yeah,
It's different level, and I think it's so hard to sum up how you actually feel about it that you have to go. yourself.
Yeah.
It was something that we had talked about ourselves for a long time.
Yeah.
We must have talked about going over for a game for, geez, man, it must have been 8 years. I'd say we were like,
Yeah.
we have to
You
go.
know what I mean? As soon as we turned to adults and started making our money, we could make it happen. You know what I mean? So it was brilliant that we carried that through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So look, I think that genuinely to try and describe it for somebody, it just has its own unique feeling as to what it feels like to be there. And once you go, you will be addicted. You will have to go again.
Yeah.
It's something you have to experience. I know not everybody would be lucky enough to be in a position to go, but I mean, what? It probably cost us 200 quid to go, like with
Yes.
flights, accommation,
Yeah,
and
but
tickets in.
when you take into account the beer and the travel, it's a bit more than that, lad.
Well, look, I'll put it to you this way, man. I probably spent about 1,000 quid. Like, I remember for the last trip when we went, and ye two boys didn't have any money left,
Yeah.
and we drank the rest of my money. Like, I think
Oh,
I came home with about £4, man. That's all I had left. I had nothing
but that's
left.
the
It
aim.
was
That's
like,
the aim when you go over there, lad.
oh,
To
sure, here.
empty the account. It's the
Remember
aim. You
we,
know what I mean? That's what
remember we
you've
had.
got to do, lad. You have to do it. We look. We don't look. The fact is, like, you know, we've all grown up. You know, we all have our own different things going on.
Yeah,
But one thing with us, we always make sure we get to do something together, no matter what it is. And getting to go to the football, lad, you know, you may
that's
as
it.
well enjoy it because you know what I mean. When you come back, you're back to the harsh realities of life. You know, like work and stuff like that. Like,
Mm,
you know what I mean. Fortunate enough, me and you have always been able to kind of, you know, do a lot of things together, which is great. But you know what I mean.
yeah.
Going to the matches, man, it's different. Like for me, when I wake up match day morning, like you know us, like the minute we leave our homes, basically, we're drinking. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man, doesn't
And
stop
then, you
all the
know,
way.
the night before the game, we always have a big night. We do it. We overdo it. We overdo it every time. But
Every time.
as soon as you wake up that morning and your eyes open, you're like, it's match day. Forget about the hangover. We go down, get
Yeah.
breakfast, come back up, shower, get the clobber on, get the gear on, and we're gone. And it's the excitement. Honestly, I cannot describe it. It's better than being a child at Christmas when you don't know what you're getting. Honestly,
Yeah.
it is unbelievable. I cannot describe it. But look, we have another memory, and I'm sure this is going to pop up in this question. So this is why I saved it till the end. But if not, we will talk about it after, which is the Arsenal trip. But look, one of my most cherished Spurs memories, like everyone knows, like you know about me able to bring my out lad over for his birthday, and after a 15-year exile from the lane, and you know that was
Yeah.
amazing for me. But another amazing moment was getting to watch a North London derby with my best mate. Oh my God, man, that was unbelievable, wasn't it? But look,
And
what is your most cherished Spurs memory?
I have to admit, for me, it's that exact same game. It's just it's the pinnacle of what you look forward to of being a Spurs fan. Like you hear all the time about derby games and people that talk about them, like being here from Ireland and stuff. A derby game to an Irish fan is completely different to a derby game to an English fan because they're there, they're in it, they know what it's like, and the hatred is pure. Like it is fucking pure, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's toxic. It's good though. It's good. I love it, lad.
you know where I'm going with this. You know, it's about time this was brought up because I know you talked about it on one of your previous shows. But yeah, we had that absolute pleasure of getting the match day scarf, the
The
half and
tourist
half.
thing, everyone
You
does
know,
it.
everybody that's a tourist does it. You know, the whole memorandum of the trip, what had been, and everything was good, all was golden, and we went into one of the Spurs pubs and we were lit. But you know, again, the drink had a lot to do with it, all right. But we were in the
Honestly, I
pub, the
actually think
Spurs
that
were,
day was one of the first days. Like, you know, sinking pints at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not an easy thing to do.
especially when you're wearing a fucking half and half scarf, man.
Oh
Like,
man. Oh, do you know what? I was so happy I hid mine, but I knew I like you know what I mean? To be honest with you, it's your own fault because I had that sense going in, okay, hide the red. It's Derby Day, you know, we're after already seeing a scrap, you know what I mean? You know, that
yeah,
the bouncers now refused to get into, they just left the mat and It's Derby Day, so what I'm going to do is hide my scarf. You know, I took upon myself to make myself aware of my surroundings, and I done the right thing. But you, lad, what were you thinking?
You know me, man. Absolute blind stupidity. I didn't give a fuck. To be fair, like you said, about 10 o'clock in the morning, absolutely sculling pints again. Didn't help. It was just topping up from what I had the night before. But look, I mean, I got in there. Well, to be honest, I was just taken in by going in, having a few beers and singing the songs with the boys and getting into the fucking football game mode. I was happy out. I was singing chants away.
But you were getting many eyes.
Yes, I thought, these guys must really think I'm such a great supporter of the team. This is amazing. Wow. All these guys love me in here. And then I started to notice that they were fierce looking gazes, They weren't the happy looking ones. Like, this guy knows his songs. No, these were the fuck is this little pricker? So only for a kind Samaritan managed to come over and tip me on the shoulder and goes, "Oh, you guys aren't from around here, are you?" I was like, "Fuck, obviously fucking not." Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I were you, I'd take that scarf off you fairly quick, or at least hide the red on it. And I was like, "Oh, oh, thank you so much. You just saved my fucking life. Like, thank you." So, needless to say, now in fairness, we went and we had another pint there. I didn't move on. I hid the scarf all right and hid that fairly rapid. I was getting close to burning in the red half of it, but but look here, man. I think it was ropey. It was ropey enough, but I refused to be that little bitch and back down and run away from it. So I was like, no, I'll just hide my scarf and I will have another beer. Thank you very much. But I mean, look, yeah, I think to be in a pub surrounded by almost 150 people and I'd say about 147 pairs of eyes staring at you, not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. But it shows how invested people are in the club. And, obviously nothing happened to me because they obviously were like, yeah, there's no way this guy could be this stupid to come in here with that scarf. Like, there's something wrong with him.
Honestly, they were sitting there for the first few minutes looking at you and like, this guy's on the wind up. This guy is on the wind up. So honestly, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that experience happened, Mitch, because now, like, when I've described it to you over the years, now you actually know and you've experienced the hatred between the two clubs.
And yeah, that's what it takes, is the harsh slap of reality. Thankfully, I didn't get one that day. I got the little polite reminder. Yeah, excuse me, you might want to just take that off. Thanks, fucking hell. Yeah, so it was lucky that way. But I mean, for me, it was a great experience as well. Like, it was such a rush to be in there and singing and chanting and enjoying it. It really did. It just bigged up the experience even more. It made it feel even more special. And look, thanks to you, man, because that was your idea. You were like, I want to get a real feel of what it's like to go and be there as a full-on supporter, get into the supporters pub and see what it's like and sing all the fucking songs and get in on it. And man, it was such an unreal experience. So thank you very much for having that idea. And you know me, I'll pretty much go along with whatever anyway. So, but it was
I know, it's like the blind leading the blind at times, lad.
Oh man, I ain't telling you some shit we've got ourselves into throughout the days.
But honestly though, man, we were sitting there, we were fucking happy-go-lucky because we had the few points in us. And the game itself was unbelievable. Like, the fact that we got to sit there and sing, the fact that we were nicely positioned above the Arsenal fans, what I mean, close enough to them. Unbelievable. The banter was insane. And you know what? Like, we had a Liverpool fan with us and we went 1-0 down and we were raging. But me and you kept the belief.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there giving it the big in. And me and you said, no, this Tottenham team right now, this won't die. We will get back in the game. And of course, we got back in the game. We went absolutely psycho. It was brilliant. Giving the fingers down to the Arsenal boys and everything. Absolutely loving it. But my favourite part was right at the end So you had all the Arsenal fans there. You had that one Liverpool fan there. And he's sitting there loving it that they got a penalty. Absolutely loving it. Oh, no, Aubameyang, he doesn't miss penalties. No, this is a goal. He's come over and he was giving it the big. And so were the Arsenal fans down there cheering like they won the game. But what none of them expected was Hugo Lloris's big fucking French hands pulls out the save. And my God, man, we went nuts. And I remember saying to you, actually, I says, I think he'll save this, I think he'll save it. And luckily, the Irish rubbed off on him. And boy, did them Arsenal fans get pelted. I loved it.
Man, but even I remember, right, as that penalty was given, and I remember the two of us were like, oh, fuck, man. Like, we were like, I can't even watch it. Like, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I was like, oh, man, no. Just tell me what's happened. Like, I can't even. But, like, it's that nerve-wracking moment where this is a good chance of losing this, and if we lose this, like, we're not going to hear the end of it. And like you said, those big fucking motherfucking French baguette hands came out, lad. He must have had baguettes for fingers. I don't know where he pulled those hands out of, but they were massive. Like, he pulled off the save. And you know what?
And then Jan Vertonghen, actually, big up Jan Vertonghen for getting in and making the clearance.
Yeah, that was it. That's key, man. I think that's what we're missing. We're missing that this year, is that lack of heart to get in there right at the death and throw the body on the line. But to me, that was as good, almost better as good as scoring a goal, because it really just it took off. And you could hear the minute the penalty was given, those Arsenal fans were giving us stick. They were like,
they were loving it.
And we were
honestly
just like,
it was like having a threesome with Pamela Anderson and Jordan, lad. You know what I mean? Katie Price, lad. That's what it's like, man. Having a threesome with the two of them. Honestly, they were going berserk. But when he saved it, you know what I mean? You may as well throw Eva Longoria in, and it was an absolute dream, lad.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's every man's wet dream. Like, that's just the perfect combination. You're like, I've never heard so much noise go to dead silence so quick from a certain area. Like, and the minute that was saved, they were like, get me out of here. Get me out of here. They were nearly running out of the stadium. They just go, get me on the bus. Get me on the bus. Get me on the bus.
But even after the game, remember when we were walking up towards the train station and we got stopped and we had to let all them gooners through, and we were all standing there chanting. Next thing, you just feel this beer coming over your head, bottles being flying. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely madness, the hatred. But again, I was loving it. I love that sort of atmosphere. For me personally, I love it. I thrive off it. I really enjoy it. I gave them as much as they gave me. It was brilliant. Like, even remember after the game, we were walking up, and there was one out lad there, and he was just like, you know what I mean, trying to get me and you to go with him and fight some of these Arsenal boys. And we were like, well, no, man, we want to get to the pub and enjoy ourselves. You know what I mean? Madness, absolute mad day. But you know what? Thanks very much, lad. You've been an absolute brilliant guest, I have to say. I've really enjoyed this reminiscing, a trip down memory lane. I hope, and to everyone else out there, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. If you did, make sure to smash that like, smash that subscribe button so you can get notified when my next one is out. A big thank you to Shaun Mitchell for coming on and sharing your memories with us. Thank you to the Harris Army and anyone else for tuning in. Until next time, in Jose we trust. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.